Or would you prefer to wait till the other housemates get here? What do you want to do?
Because I wanted to talk to Onyeka and not ask her a question, can I wait? Because I can't like leave here and not speak to Onyeka.
You're gonna get host
Okay, you
buddy
know what? I'm
privilege.
just gonna I'm gonna go ahead. That's fine. I
All
hope Onyeka is late as usual. But anyway, Ozzy, congratulations on congratulations on everything.
Thank you.
You yeah, you did your thing. You had a good run.
Thank you.
I guess my question to you is mostly regarding this whole. I mean, we all know why we're here. The elephant in the room, which is the OVO thing. So
Sorry,
I'm
what did
in
you call it?
OVO thing. That's what it's
Oh,
called.
yeah.
Like yeah, like the
Wow.
Drake thing. But yeah. Anyway, so I'm a Onyeka fan. Just putting that out there. But I'm gonna try to be as objective as possible.
Okay.
My question for you, and I'm gonna like give you just a background, just from how the whole thing started. And I think for me, one of the most important conversations that I saw you have in the house was last Thursday, after the pool party with Onyeka. It was a really long conversation both of you had, and I think that just for because of the unfortunate nature of the show, a lot of the interviews that you guys get, they don't really watch the show. So which is why this space is great, because we really watch the show. Anyway, you said a lot of things that day. You mentioned, you finally admitted, by the way, to blurring lines with Onyeka. And you said things like, oh, I don't care what the implications are. I blurred lines with you. But my question with you is your continuous blaming of Onyeka of the triangle of it coming about. You're saying that, oh, because she spoke to Victoria, that's what created the triangle. And you also blamed her, right? That day for your name being associated romantically with Victoria. Those were the two things you blamed her for. After saying a lot of nice things about her, by the way, which I think a lot of people need to go watch their conversation. You were very candid and honest. I think the most honest you've been in the house. So my question to you now is: I don't understand the need to constantly blame Onyeka for the triangle for a couple of reasons. One, all three of you guys signed up for the bbnanja show. I think
Hmm.
we all know how the show works. If you as much as breathe next to a girl, you're going to get shipped. Not to talk of a man going back and forth between two women. So whether or not she spoke to Victoria or not, you were always going to be in a triangle. That being said, before Onyeka ever spoke to Victoria about you, you had a Wani and Handi and Sean called you out in the kitchen about this whole triangle thing that everybody was noticing it. And by the way, we were also noticing it outside. We noticed when O2 became close, you had a lot of shippers here. The bbnaija page was shipping you guys before even Victoria
Hmm.
came in the mix.
Hmm.
But that day they confronted you about that, and obviously you denied, as you denied many times. Oh, you're not doing anything. They even
Hmm.
mentioned specific comments that they've heard you say to even Onyeka. You denied and said that wasn't what was going on. But then you
Please
said
round up your
something.
questions.
Hold on. Sorry. You said something. You said if it's getting me questions and camera time, I don't mind it. That's the first of two times that you said that on the show. So you already
Hmm.
knew that this was going on. So my question to you is, if you knew and you didn't mind that because of the camera time that you were getting, why do you feel the need to blame Onyeka? Yes, her question added to the situation, but you already knew there was a triangle going on and you played into it. And even after Ebuka's question, you continue to play into that storyline, but still blaming Onyeka for it. I don't quite get that. And I feel like you've been let off easy with your interview questions. And nobody really asked you about this, but like
I didn't mute her there. I think she muted herself. So
I
that's my
I didn't, but that's fine. But no, you've never really taken responsibility for the part that you've played in that whole situation. So I just kind of want to hear from you as to when you're going to take responsibility for that, and why do you keep blaming
Yeah,
Onyeka for that situation?
that's a that's a lot to unpack, and I feel like some of the things you said, there's some confusions in the timeline. So the thing is, I don't really want to dwell too much on this topic because, as you can see, it's just something that is has been taken over, and I like people to understand that as much as it's entertaining to them, there's lives involved, and I'm very mindful and respectful of all the lives that are involved. So, with that particular situation, for me, you know, everybody knows I had a good relationship with Onyeka, I had a good relationship with Victoria, I look at them as who they are. If I'm talking to Onyeka, I talk to Onyeka. If I'm talking to Victoria, I talk to Victoria. So I was just doing my own thing in terms of how I talk to them. So when I addressed that, because that was my first time officially. If you guys recall earlier in the house, I always used to say I seem to be the last person to get information because I wasn't. I felt like if you want to get information about other people, you have to give information. I don't really like talking about other people. So um, when I heard that thing, I was like, well, just talking. It's one thing to is one thing for somebody to say, okay, I had never watched the show before, by the way. So where I come from, I'm very comfortable having female friends. I don't think that's a crime, you know. Very comfortable. Some of my closest friends outside of the house are female, so I just it's comfortable for me. I had no idea that if you come in the house and you so much as breathe, you'd be linked to a ship. So when Sean and Handy and all that are calling me out, I said to them all the time, listen, that's your perspective. But for me and from the people I'm dealing with, we know ourselves. And I don't really think we need to prove anything to you guys. If you guys see it that way, that's up to you. So I would leave it there. And then, so when Ebuka said that thing, I thought, okay, it has to be because it's being spoken about when I'm not there because I'd never linked any of them. I'd never done anything. But I had a conversation with Onyeka later, and we sorted things out, and I put that behind me, and I just said to myself, okay, if being friends with a female or being close to somebody genuinely is going to cause people to say shit or whatever, that's not something that I can take. That's not something that I can stop. But I'm not going to let that stop me from connecting with people that I felt like I genuinely connected with. That's why I just kind of like put that to the side and just carried on being cool with them.
Hey, Afro, can I ask a follow-up question to that?
Yes, but just a moment, please. Shomax, if you're listening, I think Onyanka's having trouble connecting. Her thing is going round and round. And also, could you please furnish us with information as to where Victoria is and if she'll be attending this space? Her fans are very eager to speak with her. So thank you for that. Her, please go ahead.
Okay. And Ozzy, you'll have to forgive us. I know you said this is not something that you really want to talk about, but, you know, unfortunately, it's a big part of, your stay in the house. So I wanted to follow up on her's question, and it's about something that your brother said when he came out the house, right? He said, he practically blamed both Victoria and Onyeka about for the triangle situation. I'm just curious to know, do you agree with that sentiment, or what do you think about what he said?
You see, like one thing I realized dealing with the public and everything, people have their perceptions and just make them as blank statements. So if you come and tell me my brother just blatantly blamed Onyeka and Victoria without telling me what he said to respond, because that's my brother, so I may be able to interpret what he said for you. You might have interpreted it your own way and took it that way. What you guys fail to realize is, without trying to cause any chaos, Onyeka is still a good friend of mine. Victoria is still a good friend of mine. So if there's any chaotic type of thing or anything that you guys think are going on, then we wouldn't even be able to be friends or have conversations or even look to work together. So I think that's the most important thing that people need to realize. Like I say, if you watch the show, the camera shows, but the camera doesn't see. And you're talking to a real person that was dealing with real people and established real connections and had real respect that still stands. I think that's the most important thing that people should understand. Real respect, real people, real friendships, and they still stand.
Ozzy, I have to just hold your shirt a bit. I think you're giving us platitudes. Like you're not really, because I've heard you say so many of these statements before. The camera shows what the camera doesn't see. These ladies are my friends. I get it. I get it. I do. But I feel like you're answering us in platitudes, my guy. Like you're not really delving into the cocoa of the matter here, which is, and I have to say, I detest bbnaija ships. I absolutely detest them because I watched the show for the game of it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I said, your brother, Sean, obviously Onyeka, had the best games of the season, right? In terms of how you played the game. I think your game was fantastic. I detested the whole triangle shit, but I think your game was fantastic, right? I like the way you didn't hide. You were front and center in the house, yet you were able to command some kind of respect from the housemates and also ingratiate yourself into house activities in a way that was not galling to your fellow housemates, right? So I really rate that. I really respect that. However, you have to understand that this ship business is unfortunately or fortunately, depending on which side of the coin you fall, is the one that draws the most interest from people. So as many people as are let up is as many times as you're going to
Mm-hmm.
hear this question, right? So I don't know what it is people exactly want you to say, but just prepare yourself that you're going to hear this question and again and again. So I'm going to just break the ice by saying, for me, what I want to know is at which point in the house did you realize that, yo, this is a game and I have to play? Or did you never realize that?
Um, I'm gonna be very, very honest with you. I'm not a gamer. Okay, so when people tell me I play the game, it's like they think I sat down, created a strategy, and said, okay, this is what I'm going to do, or that's what I'm going to do. That's a very difficult thing for me to do because I feel like you would just see right through that immediately. And if you know it's a game and it's obvious and I'm being fake, I feel like that would have been bad for me. The basis of everything, when I say the camera shows but it doesn't see, it's talking about like nuances that help relationships to be formed. Okay, so for example, I've told, I don't know if you guys caught this at any point in time. I said, if you take somebody like Victoria, Victoria has seen me from outside of the house since way back as like 2018 or 19. Do you understand? It's not like in the house was the first time she saw me. We also have mutual friends. And I say people have different types of personalities, right? Like, so you have people that are like sprinters and marathon runners. Sprinters, immediately you get to see their personality and understand who they are and decide, do I want to go this way or do I want to go that way? With marathon runners, it takes a bit of time. And Victoria was somebody that maybe in real life might have not been a marathon runner, but in the game and things that happened to her in the first week caused her to come up on my shell slowly. But I already knew that, recognized that, and we already had a conversation. And I knew at some point we're going to be cool as long as she lasts long enough in the house to show herself. So once she started to express herself and become cool, immediately our friendship just went back to that initial conversation. But I think, and where I was arguing with people in the first place was because it was new for them to just see me all of a sudden having a conversation with Victoria without asking me. There's an assumption that, oh, he's now interested in forming a ship or playing a game or whatever the case is. And I'm like, that's not how it happens. And even somebody like Victoria will tell you she builds friendships organically, just as I do. So our friendship just built up organically. I saw things, as an old citizen in the house. One thing is that when I see people in situations that is current for them, but I've been through it before, it's just in me as somebody that has younger siblings or somebody that has friends or whatever to want to care and be there and offer my assistance or whatever. And if I say I genuinely have a friendship with
Okay,
you,
all right.
it's
Sorry
going to
to
be
interrupt you. So
consistent, right?
in your opinion, everything you did with these women in the house was all friendship. You didn't blur any lines, you didn't cross any lines. It was all strictly friendship. And anybody that interprets it otherwise is not seeing what the camera doesn't see. That's basically what you're saying, right?
No, I think I said, at the end of the day, listen, for the most part, yes, because I dealt with them to their face. I didn't put both of them in front of me and look at both of them and think it's a game. This has to do with people's
Mhm.
lives and people's feelings and people that I say out loud that I respect. So I'm not going to conduct myself where I see both of them and try to upset one another. But I had genuine friendships with both of them, and I tried to keep that separate because the friendships were and are still formed on respect. Do you
All right.
understand? So that was my approach to things. I didn't know how things were bubbling on the outside, what different things were going on. I just know, hey, if I tell you that you're my friend and everything. Now, at some point, like I said, I'm very comfortable around women. I'm playful, I'm flirty, all them kind of things like that. So probably it looks like lines and boundaries were
All right.
crossed. But I'm just telling you in terms of our real time
No
communication.
worries. I've got your fan on stage who really wants to speak to you. Hectic. Your guy's here. Go ahead.
Okay.
Big him up. Show him love. The stage is yours. Go ahead, Hectic.